We all know what comes with the holiday season: family, food, and a whole lot of excitement. But along with that comes the real need for rest and relaxation. So why wouldn't you get the best sheets possible to give you the perfect night's sleep? Well, pure organic cotton sheets from Boll and Branch make a truly special gift this holiday season because they make the highest quality sheets by doing things the right way, not the easy way. Their smoothness, softness, and weight are unmatched. I sleep in these and they are amazing. Plus, they have so many different styles to choose from.
Their sheets are crafted to the highest standards of incredible attention to detail. And they have the perfect balance of weight and breathability to pamper warm or cool sleepers through any season. There are no middlemen between you and Boll and Branch, so you get luxury quality for the fairest price, which certainly helps around the holidays.
So treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll and Branch. Their gifts come wrapped and ready in their special holiday packaging. Their best deals of the year are going on now with promo code OLDMAN at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com. Promo code OLDMAN. Exclusions may apply. All right, let's welcome in our guest, John Collins. John, how are you right now? A lot of things happening right now.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Practice just got canceled today again, so a little bit, weird space right now, but I'm doing good.
I want to bring this up. We should talk about it from the jump, and that's just the COVID outbreak that's happening across the NBA right now. Two of your teammates just got announced today. They're joining Trae in COVID protocols. You guys are still scheduled to play on Christmas. What, from your mindset individually and also from your team's perspective, what's sort of the mindset right now surrounding COVID, surrounding continuing to play games?
It sort of has that same feel as it did, was it last year or almost a year and a half ago now, where it's just this feeling of uncertainty. Guys want to get out on the court. We know from the top down, owners and coaches, everybody wants to get out there and watch us play for the fans as well. I feel like we want to continue the season and don't want to have a buildup of games, or to have to stop, or, there's a bunch of things that could happen that we've seen already that we're more understanding of the situation, I feel like. But just still, again, that we're at uncertainty. That's really the feeling right now is we don't know what could possibly happen right now.
John, on a practical level, every team is signing guys off the street basically to play at this point. So, assuming like you do play this weekend, how do you even sort of figure, like if you don't know half the guys you're playing against, how do you even sort of prepare for that besides just going out and, just playing?
It's sort of the mindset I have when guys, are preparing for, somebody to play and they don't play, superstar wise, or, guys resting. I try to have the mindset of, these are the best guys in the world. They're in the NBA for a reason. Don't take them lightly. I want to go out there and win anyway. So that's more so the mindset, but it definitely changes the way you approach the game. I feel like a lot of guys could get lackadaisical or, be like, oh, we got a team full of G League guys, a team full of whoever. You saw like, with KD the other day, he pretty much led, a team full of two signees and guys who never played to a victory. So it's all about respecting the game.
You had two normal seasons in the NBA, your first 2 years. Your third year, the season was suspended. Your team ended up not going to the bubble, and you didn't get to experience that. Last year, not a ton of disruption, but we played most of the season last year without fans, so it was a little bit of a funky year. This season, there's been a ton of disruption. There's been a few postponements. There most likely will be more postponements on games. Is it hard as a player and as a team to get in a rhythm with so much disruption? I mean, you just mentioned you guys didn't practice again today. How difficult is that?
It's It's real difficult, JJ. Like for instance, we had shoot around. We were supposed to play the Cavs. I think it was a couple days ago, and we had shoot around, right? And we go home from shoot around, and the game gets canceled. For me, I know probably you understand in the same way. Like on game day, I'm not like irritated, or I'm sort of just zoned the whole day. From as soon as I wake up, I'm in like the zone. Mentally, I'm trying to conserve energy, all that good stuff. So, when it comes down to, coach just being like, hey, game's canceled, it's a weird feeling because games never get canceled, middle of the day. So it's like for me to just, drop all that energy is it's tough, man. It continues with the ups and downs of the league, but It's really weird. Again, it's a new space for me that I've never really experienced again. So I'm just trying to take it in stride, really, and keep working.
So Adam Silver came out today. He was on NBA Today with Malika Andrews and said that as of right now, the league doesn't plan on suspending or pausing the season. I am 6 months removed from the NBA. I'm a little detached on this, so I don't really have a sense from a player's perspective of the desire to continue to play, given that 100 some of your peers over the last month has been entered into COVID protocols. Have you guys talked about whether or not we should be playing NBA games right now?
Yeah, we've all talked. Obviously, the PA meetings and whatnot go on, but we're trying to figure it out. Obviously, a bunch of new variants coming out. Guys having options to get the booster or not get the booster. Wearing your mask. Certain states have mandates and all different types of variables that I think play into this game. As you see some teams, playing a team and then their whole team catching COVID, as well, sort of the same thing that happened with us. So, guys want to continue, I feel like, playing. Guys don't want to stop the season or, have a break. As I said, it just causes confusion and, causes back-to-backs and games later in the year and all that good stuff, So, I feel like guys don't want to have that same feeling of just canceling the season, but understand the risk.
John, so I was going to say, do you think the way your team is built from just a depth standpoint, helps you guys in situations like this, both with the virus, but then also just with the injuries and everything like that, where you just have so many guys who are, next man up, who can fill it up when they get out there? And then my sort of follow-up to that is, what do you know about Lance? Because JJ knows him, and I think we're all excited to see him back.
Lance Stevenson?
Yeah.
Holy hell, we signed Lance?
Yeah.
Damn, man. See, hold on, my bad. You made me go off the camera. This is crazy because I just had practice canceled. What I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm not checking my phone the rest of the day, Okay, but, I like Lance. He brings a lot of juice, a lot of energy, a lot of flair. I don't know too much about him or know him personally, but, I know he's a hooper and he can fill it up. So, obviously, as you said, it's nice to have a deep roster, especially like right now when we also have guys that are injured as well as, COVID protocols. So it makes it that much, safer, or again, gives you some understanding going into the night, knowing, okay, at least we know we got some guys we practice with, gotten reps with, and you just try to go from there. As I said, again, we're all pros. So, we do our best to figure it out.
I said this a bunch last year on the podcast when you guys were making your playoff run. One of the most impressive things to me about your team was your depth and the versatility of your personnel, which I think lends itself to playoff success. And you guys finished the regular season really well last year after Nate took over. Why do you think that momentum hasn't happened from a win-loss perspective this season?
Well, obviously, I feel like the number one is the East got a lot tougher. I feel like that's the first part. I feel like, not a lot of people took into account, maybe not ourselves, maybe we weren't, as mentally ready or as prepared to have the East the same, strength level. But the East is stronger this year. A lot of teams figuring it out. A lot of the young guys coming into their own. And I feel like that, sort of gave us a bumpy start at the beginning, as well as injuries as well. Not having guys for training camp, I could go on about injuries for this team. We haven't had the best luck with injuries again last year. As you said, with our versatility, me and Gallo were playing the three. Gallo played the three for, offense, and I guarded the three. Like, what I'm saying? So we had like me, Kevin, Gallo, myself, and Clint. So it's just funny, the versatility, but it just allows us to do so many things. And I'm just hoping we can continue to figure it out and stay healthy, man. Again, so I feel like that's a big part of why our chemistry hasn't been able to form, is because we haven't played together. So, no excuses again, but we're gonna figure it out.
I get the sense, though, that there is a level of disappointment. You guys are 14 and 15 as of this recording. I get the sense that there's a level of disappointment, despite the injuries, despite COVID. We've seen you're having another great season. Trae is having a phenomenal season. Clint Capella has had a stretch where he's been dominant, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't translated into wins. But it feels like you guys are a sleeper team in the East. We can talk about, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami when they're healthy. But there's a number of teams in the East, as you mentioned, Cleveland, Chicago, you guys, that have a chance to make another deep run in the playoffs.
JJ, I think it's sort of the sleeper, right? But I think we're also getting that effect as well, right? Last year we were truly a sleeper. Guys weren't expecting us to come out and punch them in the face as we did, which I feel like propelled us to, not only motivate ourselves to do well and be the underdogs, right? But to beat those teams, put a target on our back. And that comes into this year. You know what I mean? They're feeling like, hey, these guys have playoff experience, playoff aspirations, a couple games away from the finals. Everybody's watching, the whole basketball world is watching. So I feel like, again, just more pressure, more on our plate to handle. But again, we're a young team. We're resilient. As you said, we're versatile. So just got to stay the course, like you said, and get to the postseason.
I was going to ask you about the playoffs last year. Do you feel like the environment in New York sort of helped propel the run a little bit, just in terms of like from day one, you guys were in it in a way that, wasn't necessarily the case in other playoff series?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was a shock for not only, the world to see us on that stage, but a shock for us to be in that environment for our first game. My first playoff game, myself, Trae, I really feel like majority of the team, those were our first playoff minutes, first playoff game in the Garden. With all eyes on us. And as I said before, it's a lot of pressure. I feel like it definitely propelled Trae. I feel like he lives for that moment anyway. But I feel like in general for us, it just made us lock in, man. We're in the Garden. All eyes are on us, and we wanted to win, of course, at the end of the day.
I want to get into a little bit of your background right now, but I don't want to let this opportunity to pass to say how much I loved being Lance Stephenson's teammate. Lance he's one of the all-time just personalities and characters in my generation of players. And I think he was such a great teammate and such a great dude to be around my year with him in LA. And I think you'll really enjoy his company as a teammate. He's a great dude.
I hope so.
No, you will. He's one of one, born ready. Born ready. So your background is kind of nuts, and for people that don't know it, I want to just kind of give an overview of it, but I want you to talk about it a little bit. So you were born in Utah. Your father was in the Navy. You spent time in the Virgin Islands, in Guam, in Turkey. You ended up going to high school in West Palm Beach. You played soccer growing up. In real time when you were a kid, your sense of normalcy and just moving city to city, country to country, did that have any sort of effect on you?
I feel like it had a big effect in terms of, the way I speak, the way I talk to people. I feel like, when I say this, I feel like a lot of people can have better understanding of the fact that I don't have a hometown, right? I was born in Layton, lived in Tacoma, Washington, lived here, there. But I don't have a home roots. I can't go anywhere and say, hey, I know this dude for 20 years. This is the corner store I've been at I know old Pop here, and I don't have that. So for me, it was always moving and making new friends and talking, communicating with people, being a new kid on the block. I was always used to being a new kid on the block. And I feel like, as well as the traveling, new environments, I always feel like that helped me get, once I got to college and once I got to the league, because, the traveling and the process of understanding how to travel and how to, prepare yourself, how to hydrate, how to eat, not to say I knew it already, but I had a very good understanding from a young age. I was a world traveler. I felt like, with my mom, obviously, who was, you said dad was in the Navy, mom was in the Air Force, and I was with her for, my whole life. So, as I said, traveling from military base to military base, basic housing, those were good times, man. My mom did a good job of not letting me realize we didn't have anything. I thought we had so much, when I go back and look and how she, just raised me. And, I always appreciate everything she did for me. But yeah, man, it was a very, very exciting, I'd say, childhood, to say the least.
When did you pick up basketball? And then also, when did you grow?
When I always had a basketball in my hand. I was playing on the youth center teams, the CDC teams, the military base teams. I was started there, travel basketball and up, but I really started growing. I was 6 foot coming into my freshman year of high school, and I finished my senior year at 6'8", 6'9". And I did most of that growing. My sophomore summer, I sprouted up from 6'2" at the end of my freshman year to like 6'5", and and like I said, finished around 6'8". So that's pretty nice growth spurt in high school. I didn't know I could, I wasn't planning on going professional, but I ended up 6'8" my senior year, and it was perfect.
I love the juxtaposition of your story of traveling around the world with your mom and living in basic housing, and now living in a home where the ceiling height is so high that you can't replace the battery of the fire alarm.
No, actually it was the one upstairs. So I actually could, film. I got you. We're good right now. But like I said, fire happens right now. I'm calling JJ, man. I need some insurance money. I need some type of rollback, man. I need something, man.
I have a personal umbrella policy, so I'll look out for you.
See, I knew you're a man with the plan, JJ. I already knew it.
So 2017 draft, a lot of great players drafted before you. And I was looking through the list. I actually was looking through your draft list about 2 weeks ago randomly about another player. But it's honestly one of the weirdest drafts in recent memory because it's super recent. It was 4 years ago. And there's a bunch of guys that were drafted ahead of you that have already been in and out of the league. Some guys aren't in the league currently. And this is you're in your 5th year. In general, that night, draft night memories, what was going through your head?
How it was explained to me when I was on draft night was, I was going anywhere from like 8 to like 16, right? And I think I worked out for Chicago, a bunch of teams. I can't even remember all right now. Miami, all those teams that were in that range, I worked out for. And funny enough, I didn't interview or work out with the Hawks at all. So when I did drop to 19, not only did I not interview or have any, prior knowledge of Atlanta or being the Hawks organization, anything, I was also surprised that none of the teams or any none of the workouts I had or interviews translated into anything. And it was very confusing, honestly. But, on draft night in the moment, I'm trying to, be grateful, right, and appreciate entering the NBA, but in the same way, I'm like in a frenzy of like, damn, like what's happening? Like I'm preparing for the best moment of my life, and now everything's going not how I expected, and mom's over there like what the hell? Agents are like all my family's like, what's happening? So it was crazy, man. But I appreciated every moment of it. I feel like all that gives me character.
What was the feedback? Those teams that you worked out for, what was the feedback they gave you? Was it positive? Did you have any sense that one of those teams was going to draft you?
I didn't have any locks, which was probably a big red flag or a big, or more of a red flag looking back on it now. But every draft I had, interview I had was great. I had a couple head coaches of teams bring me into their office and tell me how much they liked my game and that if I was available. They told me that if I was available, that they didn't think I was going to be available, which let me know that other teams were also thinking about it too, or whatever, how the league works. But dropped to 19. So it was a shocker, like for me. But at the end of the day, I knew at the start of my sophomore year at Wake Forest, I wasn't on the draft radar at all. So I knew leaving that building, I was like, job done. Like, from a nobody to a first round pick, I can take that. I can start there. But I was definitely still like confused out of my mind.
How was your adjustment process? Because JJ and I were talking about this earlier, but you were 20-10 by your second year in the league, which is not common, to be in that place.
Yeah, I never really felt like I had an adjustment period when it comes to basketball in terms of learning. Right, I know I had to learn the game, and the game has to slow down and all that good stuff. But I always felt like, I put the work in. I trusted my work. I was most of the time, or 99% of the time, I'm always in shape. So I feel like that makes the game a lot easier to play. And, I don't know. I live, sleep, eat, and breathe basketball. So all the ups and downs and challenges, I'm ready for them. Or, I feel like I'm prepared for it. This is what I do. This is all I know. So I never, like I said, I never really had a big adjustment, more so off the court. Outside of the facility was where I needed to adjust, money, family, cars, the girls, whatever, everything. All that stuff was more so difficult for me than in the gym.
I want to go back to something you just said prior to Tommy asking that question, just to clarify for the listener and the viewer, which is you mentioned not having a lock going into the draft. And what essentially that means is, in general, an agent will sort of suss out your range. For me, it was 8 to 14. So I had, going into draft night, I had a lock at 14. I knew Utah, if I dropped to 14, Utah was going to take me. The issue is if you're projected in a range, as John kind of said, and we've talked to a number of guys recently who's had this happen to them, if you miss your range, there's teams that have already given locks to other guys. And so sometimes it happens where you drop way further down than you should be. But 19 is, it's commendable, John. It's commendable. It's nothing to frown upon.
No, again, and that's how I felt coming in terms of not being a 5-star recruit, not having a high major offer, not being on a national stage. Again, going to Wake Forest and not playing my freshman year, not being on the radar again at all for a whole nother year, coming back a year older, being able to do what I did and still go 20. I appreciated it, but it was more so, again, being in it when I knew I was going to the Hawks, and I'm like, dang, I'm going to the Hawks. My first thought was like, dang, what the heck? But like I said, when I left, once I calmed down, I'm like, dang, I looked at the, perspective, right? Because that's all it is. I had to calm down and take the whole perspective in account and say, like I said, this is mission accomplished tenfold. I thought I was going to do 4 years. I didn't know I was going to have the year I did. Honestly, I knew I was good, but to have average 19 and 9 and take my team to the tournament, that's a lot to add. That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to imagine that I was going to do in the future. So again, I had to appreciate that. And again, know that it's another hard journey ahead. NBA is not an easy.
I don't know why anybody would stay 4 years at Wake Forest anyways, but you're
hey man, you guys used to stay 4 years at Duke, man. Now just an In-N-Out burger.
It's a one and done factory. It's a one and done factory. That's what Duke basketball is now.
Hey, Wake Forest like that treatment. Send some of those recruit over to Wake, man. Winston-Salem, man. We need them.
Maybe, you never know. We'll see what happens when Kay leaves. Although John Shire keeps churning out top recruiting classes, I think we're going to be all right. You didn't really shoot threes as a rookie
at all.
Yeah, you shot a few your second year at about 34%. I kind of did a composite of the last 3 years, including this year. You're at 40% at about 3.5 attempts a game. And you're a player, look, it's especially when you first came in the league, that was known for your athleticism, certainly for your dunk shots, which we'll get to in a second. When did
dunk
you
shots.
Yeah, that's what I call them. When you don't dunk, that's what you call them. When did you sort of realize that you had to expand your game to the 3-point line?
Man, as soon as I stepped into the league, I felt it. I felt the need. I saw the game changing. As I said, I live, sleep, eat, and breathe basketball. Although I'm not necessarily working or wasn't working on shooting threes, I could see where the game was going in terms of attempts and just the way the game was played. I always knew I had nice touch and a good mid-range jump shot. So I never thought, I always had confidence in myself that I could shoot. So I just started to work on it and knew it was going to be necessary in terms of just me evolving. I'm 6'9" on a good day, 6'10" with them shoes on, so I'm not a big guy. I'm not, a burly, big burly guy. So I just knew I needed the space and I needed some diversity in my game. And what better way to shoot, stretch the floor.
Fundamentally, to develop that range, again, because, you didn't shoot threes in college 3-point lines inside the NBA line. Did you have to change anything in terms of your form, your balance, your lower body, or was it just simply a matter of getting the reps up?
In terms of form, no. Reps, of course, a million reps. Just keep shooting. But in all the things I changed were my feet, and my hands on my follow through, and in my shot. Sometimes I didn't entirely hold the ball, right, and sometimes I didn't. I would leave my shooting hand here instead of, me and my coach CJ always tells me to shake hands with the ball, right. So when I'm done shooting, my hands should shake hands, right, or in a way, right, in a basketball way. And then again, more so with my feet, learning whether I'm a hop jumper or I'm a 1-2 guy. And I felt like, and what I figured out is I'm both, but in different areas of the court, I'm better, right? So going right, I'm better hopping, and going left, I'm better 1-2ing. The other way around, right? But
right.
That's more so where I needed to figure out the game, because I felt like the touch was there, and I, my depth perception was there, but it was just a matter of figuring out the small things. And I'm still working on that now. Still trying to polish it out. Shooting is an everyday thing. Like today, I probably got however many shots again, but it's polishing. You gotta stay polished.
So I love hearing this, because to me, as important as the reps are, as important as your form, when people think about form, they're generally thinking about the upper body. But the footwork as a shooter is as important as anything else. And I was 15 years into my career, and I was still working on different spots on the floor, knowing, hey, on this spot on the floor, I'm better left, right, or on this spot on the floor, I'm better as a hop. So let me work on the other way. And it's literally a lifelong journey trying to figure that out. I just feel like with shooting, there's always room for improvement, because shooting is such a rhythmic thing. It's mechanical. There's muscle memory involved. And so practicing all of those shots using different footwork was one of the most important things that I learned very early on. I learned that in high school, and I still did it, and I still worked on it 15 years into my career.
Another thing about you too is you were you shot off the dribble or off the run, moving shots. Like you were really good at that. I haven't even started to get into that range yet. I'm just talking about like catch and shoot, right? Or catching in rhythm or running into the shot out off of a drag. So again, there's a whole nother layer, right, of coming off of a screen and being able to fire it, right? Because I'm stationary, but you were firing it while moving. Having that little twerk or twitch, however you say it, to your shot, like that takes more time and reps than people can account for. How easy you make it look, or you make it look. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work, man.
Some of us make it look easy. What is your game? What does your game look like in 5 years? How do you sort of visualize your growth as a player over the next 3 to 5 years?
One of my favorite players to watch is Jokic, because of how patient he is. And that's more so, not to say I want to be a Jokic, but I want to play with that patience. And that's what I want my game to sort of feel like, and have that vibe, that patience, that understanding, seeing things before it happens, reading the game at a high level. That's what I want. I feel like, as I said, the game naturally, I can play the game naturally, go out there and just run around and dunk and make an open shot and, find the ball, instincts, all that stuff is great. But, I want to be a basketball genius. I want to understand the game. And that's what I want, whatever it looks like, but I want that. I want to be able to make all the right reads all the time. And help my team win in that way.
What's remarkable about what you just said is guys, not everybody, but a lot of guys who have gotten to this stage based on their size and athleticism don't have that mindset of realizing that the growth as a player, like at some point the athleticism goes. The guys who realize, like, I've got to develop my skill, and it's not an overnight thing, those are the guys that still play at an all-star level at 35, which we've witnessed a bunch recently. But that's not a normal. I'm not trying to gas you up here, but that's not a normal thing. That's not a normal mindset to have. Is just acknowledging the need to grow your skill and recognizing that it's not going to be an overnight thing.
I see a lot of bigger guys, especially for me being a big skilled guy, like not to say I'm LA already, right? Or even have a LaMarcus Aldridge career. But you look at a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, who's been able to stay in the league because he's skilled. He can shoot the three, make open three, still gets to his post game, still a solid defender at this point, right? For his being where he's at in his career. But your ability to stay around the league because of what you can do with the basketball is extremely important. And it shows me that it goes to show that, hey, I do have one side, right? But I look at him as an example to say you can be around for a long time if you just understand how to play the game the right way, as well as, being a big skilled guy as I am. I want to utilize all of the perks I have, just being me.
John, speaking of athleticism, do you have a favorite in-game dunk?
It's probably the one on Joel in the playoffs. We were talking a lot of, it was a little build up on that one, and obviously probably my most meaningful 2 points, on anybody, and in the heart of the playoffs. So it's probably my favorite.
I was going to ask you about the process of making the shirt. Did you walk off the court and you're like, we need to make this shirt right away, or did you sleep on it and then figure it out the next day? No,
shouts out to Scott Cunningham. He's our team photographer. And what happened is he texted me before the game, and I sometimes I'd be on my phone. I didn't see his text because I was walking into the arena, and he texted me. He was like, "Hey, I got this shirt for you. I want you to come check it out." I didn't get a chance to see it, but obviously he was traveling with us in Philly. And he's like, after the game, we won, thankfully. And he brings me the shirt. He was like, yeah, I wanted you to wear this before the game, but, I think it kind of worked out a lot better. I'm like, yeah, damn right. If we wore that shirt before the game, we lose, look like an idiot. But anyway, I get the shirt, and I'm like, dang, what do I do? What do I do? Because the game is already over. I'm in the locker room and we're about to go, but I got media. I have media. So I'm like, bet, put the shirt on. I'm like, how do I look? Boom, boom, boom. I go in there and I'm like, put the shades on, and the rest is history.
I had a sneaky. I actually was going to ask the same question, Tommy, and I'm glad you asked it, because I actually had a sneaky suspicion that was going to be your dunk. And you've had a number of dunks, and we need you to confirm a story that was told last week on our pod by George Niang. He said you guys were yapping at each other recently, and you said, "I'm going to dunk on you." And his reply was, "Never. You will never dunk on me." And
right, that's the PG version. PG version.
Yeah, okay. And within a few minutes, you dunked on him. As he described it, pretty violently. So that is 100% factual. It's 100% factual. That whole story.
No, that's a fact, man. That's 100% fact, man. I can't remember the exact altercation or what was going on, why we started chirping at each other, but we were guarding each other, that game. So, not to say that's reason enough, but, there was an altercation. I was at the free throw line, and we said, so he fouled me. He's like, yeah, JC, you flopper, blah, 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 whatever. We chirping. I'm like, yeah, I flopped all right, but I'll dunk on you too. I'll dunk on you too. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, like you say, he's like, yeah, never, whatever. Next play, back cut, boom. And I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream at him. But the referee, I forgot who was reffing the game at the time, was like, he peeped in on our like altercation. And if you go back and watch the video, he's watching me as I turned as I was about to scream, and I just go the other way. Because, he wanted to call it tech. He didn't want us to, incite anything, but good fun times right there, man. Good fun time.
Have you had other call your dunk moments like this?
Yes. I genuinely am trying to remember, because it happens semi-frequently, like it happens in those moments where somebody like tries to chat and chirp me, and I'll do it. But right now I really wouldn't be even able to tell you, because I dunked on a lot of people. But but it has happened more than once. I used to do it in high school all the time, in college all the time, and still doing it.
As always, this podcast is presented by Cash App. We just want to acknowledge and thank Cash App for being amazing partners for Old Man and the Three and 342 Productions. Tommy, this is, to me, the most versatile payment app on the market. There's so many things you can do. Obviously, you can transfer money if someone picks up a bar tab or someone loses on the golf course. But there's so many other things that you can do on Cash App.
I was going to say, yes, there are. There's crypto.
You can buy stocks. You can buy stocks.
There's all kinds of things you can do. I just feel like it's funny that your version of Cash App has just been bets that you've lost this entire year, except for Ty Jerome. Except for one person who owes you money, everything else has been you having to pay people money. No matter what you say on here, that's really where it is.
Tommy, I'm going to do my books. over the Christmas break.
Come back on January 1st and present to the audience.
I will have a detailed breakdown of all the incoming and outgoing cash on Cash App. And I promise you, on golf bets and card bets, I'm positive for the year.
Do we get an independent audit, or are we trusting your word on this?
My word is my bond. All right? My word is my bond. Shout out Cash App.
The World Financial Group business model offers a unique opportunity to help make financial independence and wealth protection accessible to a diverse group of people. Their mission is to help individuals create the life they want to live while protecting their loved ones and planning their financial legacy. Interested in joining WFG? Go to their website at www.worldfinancialgroup.com/JJRetired to learn more.
For mere mortals like Tommy and I, and for most of the people listening to this and watching this, what is it like to dunk on someone? Not because there's dunking on people and then there's legitimate body catching. And you're, in terms of frequency in the league right now, you've got to be at the top or near the top of actually catching a body. What is that like?
It's like, if I could describe it, I don't know if it maybe describes it, or it gives you the feeling. It's like basketball dominance, or it's like, however, if a gorilla's beating on his chest and you see that, like that's the equivalent on the basketball court. I feel like. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm a Super Saiyan. Like if I could go Super Saiyan mode, like that would be the moment after I dunk on somebody. But in the moment while I'm in the air, I'm not thinking about anything, but like I know there's a feeling I get when I know like I've beaten that person's hand or I've beaten the block, right? And there's this like moment where I get charged, my arm just gets charged, and I try to dunk the ball as hard as I can. And in that moment, it's just like anger. Like I genuinely feel angry. That's why I'm screaming as I come down, because I'm like, I'm angry, man. Like, I don't know. Once I'm in the air and I know I've beaten somebody, something else takes over, man. But it's amazing to be able to do it.
Your description sounds very primal, which I love. It's very primal. It's very, I don't know, it's like Animal Kingdom-esque.
I like that vibe. And that, again, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like I'm king in the jungle right now. Like, who else wants to jump with me? You know what I mean? Or like, throw me another one. You know, that's how I feel.
Do you feel like when you do it, it generally changes the tenor of the game? Yeah,
for sure. Whenever I dunk on somebody, or not even dunk on somebody, you know, if I just have like a powerful dunk, that like, you know, I always have to think about what do I see when somebody else has like a powerful dunk on our end? I'm like, damn, you know, I go like, oh my God. And then for me, I never put in perspective, like you do that like 4 or 5 times a game, you know, sometimes. So, you know, I never put that in perspective a lot, but it definitely swings momentum. As you saw, like in the playoff game in Philly, I had like 4 dunks and I didn't score the rest of the game, but 4 dunks in the third started us to a victory. Trae comes down, boom, boom, boom. Like, and that's all we need, you know, not to say I finished the game, but like, that's the impact it can have.
Have you ever been accused of, you actually just mentioned this, that you do it, but have you ever been accused of using your off arm?
Sometimes, not really. Yes and no.
Not really.
Not really, because I feel like, I don't know.
I feel like guys that like you, and I'm not, this is not a knock, John. This is not a knock, because I was playing well below the rim, but I feel like guys like you, when you're that high and you're dunking with that much force, there's a little bit of leeway with that off arm. A little bit. Would you admit to that a little bit?
I think so. I think again, because of how high I am, they're not taking into account. Well, I'll say this, for the trajectory and how powerfully I jump this way, right? The referee always has to know that the defender jumping into somebody going like this, right? The offensive player still has, what's the word? Right of movement, right? To go forward towards the rim. And the defender has to be vertical and stay vertical. So I feel like if the referee's seeing somebody try to block my shot, they're gonna lax and be like, okay, let's just see what happens. Because I can call a foul here, I can call a no call here. But if it's in air, contacts are so hard to judge, So I feel like a lot of the times, hey, you go up with me, you might get punched on.
So many of your dunks have occurred in the 2-man game, the pick and roll with Trae. And I've never seen anyone like him that disguises a lob floater combo like him. I mean, as a viewer and even playing against him, I never know half the time if he's throwing a lob or shooting his floater. But right. I actually want you to, if you could, from your sort of perspective, break down your 2-man game.
Because can't give you the secret, man.
No. But I just want to. I want to kind of get in your mindset a little bit. First of all, we all watch film, John. You never set the pick.
You watch film.
You slip out 99% of the time. You've created the space, but how do you judge? How do you judge when to pop, when Trae's gonna throw the pocket pass, or when it's a confrontation at the rim?
Well, most of the time, it's by his body language. Obviously positioning on the court, right? If we're on the wing, if we're on the side of the court, right, it's probably going to be a pocket pass to the middle. If we're on the opposite, it can be either a pocket or over the top to the side or a lob. And if it's sort of a straight down, like a middle pick and roll, that's more so the time where I would pop because Trae's getting downhill. But again, it goes to personnel. Maybe I have a big on me who likes to defend the paint, not pop. But a lot of the times with Trae, I feel like why I've been able to garner so much great chemistry is his late decision-making and my ability to jump late, as you said, because you don't know when he's going to throw it. And it just gives him extra time to know, all right, I'm going to float in the air. I'm going to wait until you make a decision. And I'm going to do the opposite of what you do because I know if I throw the lob to JC, I know he's ready. He's ready. And that's sort of a trust, right? He knows I'm ready for it. So he gives him confidence to mess around a little bit. If I do want to fake floater, I can choose to do whatever I want depending on how you're going to react. And that's what makes the 2-man game so tough is you choose one, we're deadly at the other option. He has a deadly floater. I'm a deadly finisher at the rim, or, if I'm need to have a floater, or if he wants to get all the way to the cup, people don't understand how quick Trae is at getting to the rim and laying the ball, laying up 7-footers, you know what I mean? And I feel like that just adds to the dynamic of what we do.
I was going to follow up. You're with him every day. Do you see an X factor with him? Is there a thing that he does that separates him from everyone else in the league?
Yeah, I feel like it's confidence, man. Like confidence is a powerful thing. And he is ultra confident, not only because he's put in the work. I feel like you can see that he's confident in the work he's put in, but to be ultra confident and to play that way is powerful. And I feel like, again, him thriving in fourth quarters, him wanting the ball, having somebody that wants the ball is powerful. And that adds, urgency to the game. And I feel like, more than anything, you know that you have somebody on the opposite court who wants the ball at the end of the game or wants that moment, wants that spotlight moment, wants that tough shot to hit. It gives you confidence at the team.
John, this has been a fascinating conversation. Want to be respectful of your time. We appreciate it, man. Always rooting for you, fellow ACC guy.
Yes, sir. Go Deeks, baby. Go Deeks.
Yeah. All right, man. This has been great, man. We appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, bro.
JJ, appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for having me on again. Appreciate it.